In this video, we're going to discuss CRA models for dividing a fraction by a fraction. So we have two different types that we're going to look at. One, we're just going to have a whole number quotient. The other, we'll have a fractional quotient. But these are going to be similar to dividing a whole number by a fraction. How we interpret them, we're just going to start with a non-whole number amount. So with 3/4 divided by 2/8, how we're interpreting this is, again, our dividend is our starting amount, so you have a total starting amount of 3/4 that we have shown here in the concrete model, so the length of 3/4 of this whole. And then divided by 2/8, we're gonna think of that 2/8 as groups with a size of 2/8. Okay, and we're gonna show why that is equal to 3 groups with that size of 2/8. Okay. So for this, so we have 3/4. We want to create groups with a size of 2/8. We don't have any eighths in our model, right? We just have fourths. So kind of our first step is to represent this length using eighths. Okay. Okay, so you can see we have 6/8 now, and they have the exact same length as that 3/4, so it's an equivalent fraction. Okay, so now if we want to create groups that have a size of 2/8, again, we could kind of create 3 different lines, or we can just kind of see that we have 3 distinct groups that have that size of 2/8. Okay, so there's a size of 2/8, there's a size 2/8, there's a size 2/8. So we have 1, 2, 3 groups with that size. So again, if we're starting with 3/4 and we're dividing into groups with a size of 2/8, we're looking at how many groups with that size of 2/8 do we have? Right, we have 1, 2, 3, so our quotient there is going to be 3. Okay. And kind of similarly, so for our representational model, so we have 3/4. So we have this total length here, this length of 3/4, and we want to separate this into groups with a size of 2/8. So again, we don't have eighths shown on this model. So kind of how we're showing that in the representational model is by adding these tick marks. Right, so this would be 1/8, 3/8, 5/8, and we put the 7/8 in there if we want to. So, and again, we want groups with a size of 2/8. Okay, so there is an eighth and another eighth. So this is one group. There's 1/8 and 2/8. So there's another group. And then 1/8 and 2/8 is a third group. So we have black group, red group, green groups. We have 3 total groups that have that size of 2/8. Okay. And then for right now, we're not using the algorithm or anything quite yet. So this is our abstract model for this one. Okay. If we wanted to, we could also expand that a little bit. If we wanted to kind of show that middle step there. Or we could show this as showing that equivalent fraction. So adding the tick marks in, or breaking that model down into eighths. And then the 3. So this portion here will actually be related to one of the algorithms that we look at in one of the future videos. So the common denominator algorithm. So those are when we have a whole number quotient. So now we'll look at fraction divided by fraction, where we have a fractional quotient. So in this case, we're going to have a mixed number. Okay. So here we have 3/4 divided by 1/2. We're going to show why that's equal to 1.5. So 3/4, again, that's our dividend, that's our starting amount. So we're starting in this concrete model. We're going to do an area model for this one. Looking at, we have 3/4, so that's what we're starting with. And we're going to divide this into groups with a size of 1/2. So again, we're going to use that measurement division. So groups with a size of 1/2. Okay. So here we're trying to look at how can we combine these pieces in a way so that the groups are equal to a half. So we can look at those pieces that are a half. Okay, so this one's fairly straightforward since fourths and halves are pretty easy to see. But we can see, right, if we would make a group with those 2/4, that will be equal to a half. Okay. So this is one group over here. that's equal to a half of that whole circle, okay? And if we wanted to, we could leave this half on there. I'll just leave it off just so we can see the fourths, okay? So this is one group that has a size of a half, and then I have this piece left over here. And again, we need to interpret this as what portion of a group of 1/2 is this piece, right? So we have these same size parts over here that created this group of 1/2. We just had two, right? It was two of those parts made a group size of 1/2. So here I have one of the two equally sized parts I would need to make this whole group. So this is my 1 in the 1/2, and this is half of a group with the size of a half. So this is my 1/2 here. Okay, so that's my concrete model. For the representational model, all right, so we're starting with the 3/4 shaded. Again, we want to create groups with a size of a half. So we're going to reshade this with red, just creating groups with the size of a half. So we would need both of these two pieces here. So then this red portion, right, that's half of the circle. So this is one group that has a size of 1/2. But then we have this piece that's left over here. Right, we have this black portion, right? This is one of the two parts that we would need to create a group size of 1/2. So this is a half of a group with a size of 1/2. So this is where that half comes from. Okay. So it's concrete model, representational model, and then our abstract model for this one, kind of at this point, is just going to be that equation, that 3/4 divided by 1/2 equals 1 1/2.